Hello, welcome to another UTS Startups Confessions. Can I get a practice round of applause, please? Round of applause for yourselves, that's wonderful. Raise your hand if you're a golfer. Wow, and you admit it in public, great. It's the first step. I used to play a lot of golf. It's a wonderful sport. It's a taxing sport, all that kind of gentle walking around, but and so far away from good food. But we have a wonderful solution here in the form of Caddie Snacks. Okay, so there was a surprising number of golfers. Raise your hand if you've had good food on the golf course. Yeah, nobody. This is a wonderful solution to that, and I think a wonderful kind of understanding of a target market and narrowing in on a wonderful solution. But we'll start with the backstory. Who were you both before Caddie Snacks?
So I had a banking career. I was at Macquarie Bank for 15 years, doing M&A work there.
Okay.
I was a stay-at-home mum, so we both went to UTS and both did business, but I guess different opportunities meant that I could stay at home with the kids. So yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so out of Macquarie and out of parenting, what are your first memories of the Caddie Snacks idea?
So I'd be, probably 2 or 3 years ago, I'd come home from a round of golf. This is when I was allowed to go and play golf again after 10 years of no golfing.
I can see it's a sore point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have mentioned you're married, yeah?
Yeah, we're still married, yes.
Yes.
So I'd come home like at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, having skipped a meal from playing, like starting golf at like 10 o'clock or something. And the reason being there was like meat pies and sausage rolls and Kit Kats and Mars bars on offer, but I didn't really want to eat that. I was trying to stay fit at that time. And there was just nothing there for me. And Celine was like, well, why not? Like you're out there for so long.
Yeah, admittedly, I'd want him to come home and hit the ground running because, we've got the kids and he's been 6 hours away from home on a Saturday and he'll be home starving. And I'm like, well, it's not my problem. Why don't you do something about it kind of thing, or pack your food or whatever. So, it was a problem to solve, I guess. And it came up later when we were looking to start a business, I guess.
Okay. So your background was M&A.
Yeah, that's right.
And did you bring that kind of M&A background into thinking about the different ideas that you might start up?
Yeah, so when I left my banking role, Celine and I wanted to come up with a business that would solve a real life problem. Definitely the experience I got as an M&A banker and looking at all the different various business models from targets across all different industries, it definitely helped in the way that I'd analyse, what we would do, but also at the end of the day, passion overrode a lot of stuff as well, and it wasn't necessarily analytics and numbers that drove our decision to get into this market. It was more where I'm passionate about golf, I'm passionate about food, I love good food, and there's a big gap in the market. Let's try to have a crack at it.
Yeah, and that's an important point. I'm going to pause on that for a second because speaking of good food and passion, I will say, which I should have said at the start, we have the best pizza in Central happening here in about half an hour, and we have this every week thanks to Amazon Web Services, who is a new sponsor here. And we will have a nice shiny presentation at the start of this in future videos, but just to call out to anyone, if you want the best pizza in Central, come down to UTS Startups at Central every Friday at 3:30. Join a room full of wonderful people, best pizza in Central, and meet some wonderful Amazon people here as well if you're looking at what they can offer with their services. They're wonderful. Thank you very much for indulging me there. I think, so that background is interesting as a kind of the analytical side of things. I find you come from an employment background and you have managers telling you what to do most of the time and very clear guidelines on operating. Motivating yourself to do things can be a bit of a challenge. So having something you're passionate about is one solution, but I think maybe your background as well contributed in terms of, I think parenthood is a wonderful way of forcing yourself to be motivated to do things. Do you think that came to play in terms of this being able to get on and do what needs doing?
Yeah, sure. And I think we also just falling into that deadline that we kind of came across. But yeah, sorry.
Where did the deadline come from?
Arun. So I guess being passionate about it as much as he is, we were looking at, actually you're probably best to explain it, right?
Oh yeah, okay, so this is, we just came up with the idea. So around September last year, we came up with the idea, and we wanted to get into the golf industry and have a presence there. So we were looking at events that we could sponsor, but a lot of them, around COVID time, a lot of them weren't happening, like the Australian Open got cancelled, but there was a new event that was sort of filling the breach called the Sandbelt Invitational, and that was being held over 4 of the like most famous golf courses in Australia. So I got in touch with them, and we were able to form a really good relationship with them and become the official energy bar of the Sandbelt Invitational, which was becoming like a really popular or well-known event, considering it was the first time it was being held. And mainly because of the people involved. Jeff Ogilvy and his foundation ran that event, and they're very high profile in the whole global golf market. So I got off the phone with them and was really excited about becoming their official energy bar. And then we had a look at when the event was, and it was in like December 21, and we were still in the R&D phase of getting our bars sorted out. So that really accelerated the time to get them to market, and that was actually a really good thing, because both of us are probably perfectionists, and that's not always the best thing to do if you're trying to get something off the ground. Yeah. So, I mean, luckily we've worked with a really good contract manufacturer, and we think that the bars are like sensational. Like we didn't have to have too many runs with him and the sampling of the product. They were like really good straight away, so we were like, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a cool point as well in terms of enabling technologies for what you've done. That kind of contract manufacturer that deals with a lot of small brands getting off the ground, what part did they play in getting this started?
Oh, he was actually, I think he was really just encouraging. And he gave us really good advice, and he was genuine in terms of wanting us to be successful. So it was amazing to come across a contact like that.
And we were lucky. Like he, the guy we found, he held such high standards around food, and like we didn't really think about our product necessarily being no added sugar, vegan, dairy free, no peanuts. We didn't think about these things, wheat free. But because that's the way he runs his kitchen, we just said, I will fall into what you do. But it gave us a differentiating profile for our product, that it was like really premium, and it was something that a lot of the top clubs were interested in getting in for their members because it improved their experience. So it was we were lucky, I'd say. We didn't do an exhaustive search.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we just wanted to get something out on the market quickly.
Yeah, you had like 2 months before the tournament, yeah?
That's right.
Okay, so somehow you did that. What happened at that tournament?
So it was an incredible tournament. We both went down there, and we hadn't been to any of these venues before, and they're world famous. The Melbourne Sandbelt is like world famous in golf as having the best golf courses in the world.
Nodding.
And we went down there, and we got to. It was like being an insider in the golf industry immediately, because we got to meet the guys who were running the events, and they were some of the most well-known people in Australian or global golf, and we provided the bars to the players. That was the extent of our sponsorship, right? And so all these players, they're used to getting like a banana on the first tee. So they had something that was like a bit different, a bit interesting. It was golf related, and they really responded well to it. So off the back of that, I got, we both got, a dozen ambassadors who, they were just professional golfers who either played in that event or the next event we sponsored, the Vic Open, and they reached out to me and said, we want to support your brand. It's a great Aussie brand. It's a great product. And so we've got this whole host of insiders, people who have great followings on social media, who are promoting our brand, and that's really helped us. Particularly, it's been sort of on two fronts. We sell online, and we also sell through golf shops, and getting into people's consciousness online it's been really helpful having those ambassadors, and also knocking on doors and cold calling golf clubs. A lot of those people through the network of Australian golf know one or two of the ambassadors, so that helps us sort of break the barrier.
Okay, so
It's a pretty tough market in that way.
yeah,
And we're also competing with, your run-of-the-mill snack bars, and they're just in terms of the margins and stuff. So it's been tough that way. But having the contacts and all that really helps.
and it helps if golfers are lining up to be ambassadors as well.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. Yeah.
This is called UTS Startups Confessions, so if we can get a couple of like juicier confessions, were they asking for a lot of money for those kind of deals?
He handles that.
But we've been lucky enough that they haven't asked for any money.
Yeah.
We pay them in bars and hoodies. And they're proud to wear the hoodies, and they're proud to wear the bars, and that's like.
How good is your product that people are like this? I want more of these bars.
Yeah, well, it does speak volumes for how good they are, and how I guess a lot of it's been luck as well. Like we've been lucky to be able to come up with these flavors that are really good, and people like them. Like even our son, who's in the audience today, he won't eat healthy food, but now he's like addicted to apple cinnamon. So there's something for everyone these days.
Okay, maybe we should skip the pizzas and do these instead. Okay, so that was end of last year. Fast forward to today. What does Caddie Snacks look like today?
So we've just been building out in the Australian market. So we're in around 20 major golf clubs. We're also in some like indoor virtual golf facilities, which are picking up in popularity. We're in a couple of soccer clubs as well, and those relationships have just been very personal, in that our kids go to those clubs and they've got the same issue that golf clubs have, in that their canteen is like a 1980s milk bar, and there's only like hot dogs and really high sugar foods. But people go there for exercise. Kids go there for exercise. But there's nothing decent to eat there for them in terms of a healthy source of like long sustained energy. So we've gone well in those clubs. So that's sort of opened our minds to I guess the avenue of expanding beyond the golf market. We originally targeted the golf market because that's where the original problem was, what we're trying to solve. And now we're in that position of continuing to grow that, but also having a couple of different adjacent markets.
Okay. So I think for anyone watching, if you have contacts in the golfing industry or any other kind of sporting industry or any other hungry industry, and you're looking for incredible food that converts really well, that has a decent margin on it for the people that are stocking it,
That's right, it does, yeah.
then Caddie Snacks is for you. That's the first time that's happened on stream. For people that watch me play with my ring, that was bound to happen. The journey of being employed into entrepreneurship. So tell me a little bit about that, and how the last kind of almost a year of being entrepreneurs working on this, how has that changed you both?
That was a hard one I couldn't answer before.
All right. It's kind of, you're a bit over your skis, right? It's a bit scary because you're trying to build something from scratch, right? It's not like we're even like acquiring a small business and it's got existing customers, and like we're trying to start a business in a new class of product, right? Like a health bar in a golf club is a non-existent product. So we're trying to muscle our way in there. So it's been I'd call it definitely character building, and certain things happen quicker than you'd imagine, and they're really good, and then other things that you would assume would be easier or more straightforward become really, really hard. So a lot of things we're sort of continually surprised, but very much encouraged by what you get out of being an entrepreneur with a product like this is that you get a direct relationship with the customer, like through social media. People, and you understand that people they enjoy the product and they really like it, and they really appreciate what you've done, and that sort of fulfillment was not necessarily available. It definitely is in parenting, but it's not not necessarily available in a corporate job where you're part of a big machine. You're doing important work and you're enriching shareholders, but it's just a different gig.
Yeah. So that kind of operating in uncertainty, not doing the things that you're comfortable doing and having to figure out everything along the way. Kind of get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Start to convince yourself you enjoy it.
I guess this might be part of Confessions, but my family's always been in a business of some sort, but it's never been one this is my parents, but it's never been one that's been overtly like successful. It's just kind of like trudging along. So, so I guess I'm a bit hesitant and I am a bit scared, but and this is a slow way of getting into it. So, sorry, I'll just ask a question again.
Do you remember what it felt like being a kid with entrepreneurial parents? Were you proud?
Yeah, and also scared. And then, it was a cafe, so I started working in there. And then it just got a bit tiring. And then, I was in the face of it and all the kind of things going up and down. So a part of me has that hesitance, and also just that the word entrepreneur doesn't always sound positive or kind of, mean what it does for most people. Because sometimes it's just like sometimes you're in it for the long run and you're just still slogging away. So that's my background. That's my fear.
It's a terrible word. Hard to say. It's French.
I find that
embody what
too.
people actually do.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was a kid, I had entrepreneurial mother and father, and I was so proud of them.
Yeah.
Because I looked at what they were doing compared to everyone else, and I was like, oh, they're doing things for themselves and figuring it out and doing all these amazing things because of it.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful example to set for kids, that they can choose their own pathway, and that you're not afraid of doing this kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess when you spoke about the uncertainty, it's like just kind of, you're going to start unpacking stuff that I'm not ready to unpack. Let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. Last question. If you could go back and tell yourself anything before you started, what would it be?
I think, as we were talking about, I have stepped back from the business quite a bit, and I think that's because I'm probably not as passionate about it as my golfer husband is, but which is fair. Doing the kids side of life is still the main thing for me, but I guess just being prepared for that and not seeing it as a failure, but just understanding it's the ebb and flow of the business as well. So, and then later on, I do hope to come back into it a lot more, and kind of, if it grows the way we want it, I'd love to kind of, just imagine having my own kind of manufacturing and being able to kind of provide, this goes deep as well, but provide employment opportunities for people with disabilities, because our youngest daughter has it. And so,
Can we get a round of applause for that, please?
It's just, I guess it's part of just dreaming too big, or just big. But it's just understanding that, it's not always going to be this up. It's going to be up and down, and just knowing, having an amazing partner helps. But just knowing and being comfortable with stepping in and out and letting it do its thing, or pushing it along as well.
I think I'm going to end there because I can't imagine a more beautiful end. For every single person watching this stream, if you're not going and buying some Caddie Snacks in the next 30 seconds, there's something wrong with you, badly wrong with you, and you need to look at your life.
That's not why I said it.
No, but because they're A, the most delicious thing I've tasted, B, a wonderful example of people just getting on and doing something that is uncertain but potentially incredible. in terms of an Australian brand, leveraging Australian kind of agriculture and reputation, and the ability to manufacture locally and create jobs locally for people that need jobs, and keeping some poor, hungry golfers fed that really, they need the help most of all. It's a wonderful thing, and there's a wonderful story as well. Please join me in thanking Caddie Snacks.
Thanks, Murray.
Thank you. Thanks, Mary.
And quick reminder, every Friday at 3:30, come and join us. We'll do a private Q&A now with the more juicy questions, and Caddie Snacks for 1 or 2 people in the audience. Come and join us, and again, thank you Amazon Web Services for supporting the best pizza in Central. Come and join us for that as well. We'll see you later.